What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Movie Talk, Sound and Percussion, interviewing movie news, movie reviews, and more. Episode 93. We are back-to-back episodes, kind of like black, back to
Back
black.
to black. Good job.
Look at that one. Look at that one. I knew I had back in there, and I was like, oh, I can do this, I can do this. And then I actually had to go look at what it was actually called because this week, stay tuned. We got Dancing with the Devil. So if you ever wondered about dancing for TikTok and dancing for a church in there, it'd be interesting. We are
Yep.
going to bombard you with some flashiness. And then we've got Die Hard 2, Kevin Hart's newest sequel to a TV show that was edited to a movie. And yeah, yep.
You could say it was a heart watch.
Look at you. We've
Yeah,
got
that was your level. I had to stoop there a little bit.
whatever, mine are way better than yours. I do it with confidence and commitment. You were just like, "Yeah, that's right. That's right. I give,
It's like the start of your Around the Twist intro.
yeah, that's the noise it makes. I was going a cappella. Wow. A movie that you were very, very fond of, Godzilla X Kong sequel will be directed by
Yep.
Grant Spurt. Yeah. So it's getting a sequel. Surprise, surprise. Not surprised.
Is that Sputore?
Correct.
Like Sputore, I guess.
Yeah, I was
Yeah,
correct.
right.
I'm
Whoever
not.
he is.
I'm not surprised it's getting a sequel though.
Oh, of course. That was always going to happen.
Yeah, I didn't mind
He's
it.
directed very little. Four
Mm,
episodes of a TV show, something called I Am Mother, which got bad ratings. That's
okay,
it. And some short. It's
sick.
been it's interesting he's going from that to a fucking blockbuster.
They're like, here, we trust you. Go nuts.
Based on what?
I don't know. Maybe he knows
Okay.
someone. Who knows?
Yeah, probably.
Yep. We've got Wallace and Gromit coming back, which is a bit of a surprise. It's
Yeah,
Wallace and Gromit: The Vengeance, Most Foul teaser trailer has them returning. So I was a bit surprised to hear that they were returning. So yeah, we'll see.
I guess Chicken Run 2 was adequately successful, right?
Um, I don't think so. I think it had a lot of hype, and then don't think it delivered. But because it was on Netflix, lots of people had access to it, and I think numbers wise, it did well.
Sure. Well, that's what I mean.
Yeah,
Numbers wise, all that matters. Yeah, sure. Well, I didn't like I said back then. I didn't hate Chicken Run 2. It didn't have the same magic as the first one, but there's a different magic when you can see fingerprints in the clay and everything. Like there's something. I love stop motion right now, so yeah, give me it. I'm happy with that.
yeah. We've also got the Hunger Games Sunrise on the Reaping movie confirmed in 2026. So this is another prequel, I believe.
Yeah, the book, right?
Yeah, but the
Yeah,
book's
the other
not
day,
written though, is it?
Demo in chat was like, in voice comms was like, oh, there's a new Hunger Games coming out. Oh, fuck yeah, it's awesome. He's like, oh, it's a book. I was like, well, no, I don't care. I'm
Yeah, well,
not gonna read a book.
there's a movie coming, so happy days.
Yeah,
Yep,
come later. You're really low
yep.
in your camera right now, like you're hiding.
Ah, yeah. Ah.
Oh, your posture.
I
Come on,
was
man.
I was leaning forward. It's leaning forward.
You're on the edge of your seat with these news.
hmm We've
Mm.
got Lego Pharrell Williams tells his story in an animated brick biopiece, which is a weird way to do it. So he's telling a
Who?
biopic, Pharrell Williams.
Do
He's a
you know
singer.
what the biopic's on?
It's
I know
on
who
him.
Pharrell Williams is.
It's him. It's his
Oh, he's
biopic,
doing his
but
on himself, but he's
as
doing it as a
Lego.
Lego.
Yeah, yeah,
Sure.
yeah.
The
Weird.
dude's fucking cooked. He did
Yeah.
the soundtrack for Amazing Spider-Man 2. That thing's a fucking nightmare.
Mm. Funny though. Funny.
It's
Uh,
very funny.
we've got the new aliens. A Romulus will be a hybrid of alien and
Mm.
aliens. So that's when aliens were good. So we'll see.
Yeah, you and
See
I were
what they can
discussing
do.
this the other day.
Mm. We'll
I'm not
see.
sure how I don't care. Like the first two aliens are great. I haven't bothered with any of them since. I've heard nothing but average things.
Yeah, yeah. They didn't do great. I just remember the face huggers used to freak me out as a kid. It was like,
Hmm.
yeah, they were creepy. But Peaky Blinders movie is coming.
Oh, there
Mm.
you go.
It's officially being greenlit. I mean, it was pretty successful. I haven't seen it, but apparently it's really good.
Mm. I've watched all of it. I watched it pretty early and then caught up to where it was up to. Typical me story. And
Mm.
then when it came out more, I stopped watching.
I'm assuming
So
you
I need to go
haven't
back in.
watched any more of Kaiju 8 either.
Correct.
Mm.
Yeah, very typical of me.
Empty
It's hard to
promises.
access. It's not as easy as just pressing a button on Netflix. I've got to go on the laptop and plug it in and the whole extra
Uh,
process.
we'll be right.
You'll be right.
Hmm. I know that gets you. You can see the
Uh,
look you're on. Uh, the next Predator movie is Badland recruits Ellie Fanning to star. So they're going with another strong female lead, I think, for the next Predator one. I wasn't a big fan of the Predator prequel, which where they came into the early days of civilization. So we'll see.
your
We'll
word for
see.
it.
Mm. Then we've got the Venom: The Last Dance trailers out. So Tom Hardy's final symbiote adventure is coming.
That's gonna be hilarious.
Okay, is it? Is it?
The other ones are.
I don't know. I didn't mind him. I didn't mind him. I quite liked Carnage. I think Woody Harrelson as Carnage was a good pick. I just think the rating hurts it. The rating, because they were like
Yeah,
originally it was meant to be R, and then all that. No, we want it to be accessible, and then it went to all the gore and Venom being super cool into silhouettes, and I was like, what are you guys
yeah.
doing? Still, but
But Sony are on
Deadpool's
a
yeah,
run for bad movies at the moment. Bad
mm,
superheroes.
true,
I mean,
true.
Madam Web is like the biggest meme ever right now.
It's shocking. Which is such a disappointment. Such a disappointment. But
If you say so.
anyway, mhm. I like Madam Web. Calm down. Can't you just like superheroes?
If you say so, it was I can't have an opinion. So if you say
Okay.
so, I'm
Uh,
not giving you shit. Calm down. Jesus, I'm
whoa,
fully
whoa,
defensive.
whoa. You're so grumpy.
You're so grumpy. Oh, calm
Ah,
down, he goes.
yeah. I'm positivity. You're negative. We could be the next Inside Out movie. Optimism and your negativity. Ba ba ba.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, mm. I could be resilience
Or
too.
autism and depression.
Mm.
Mm.
ADHD and
Yeah.
sadness.
Sadness. Because ADHD is a mood.
I don't know.
Mm.
But anyway,
Mm.
let's jump into our first one and get back into it. Get it? Back to Black, which
Yeah,
is
we get
a
it.
we've got Back to Black, which is Amy Winehouse's newest biopic. So I'm not a big fan of Amy Winehouse. I like a couple of her songs. Obviously, Take Me to Rehab. I like that one. I never listened
Called
to her.
rehab.
Is it?
Yeah.
Take me back to rehab. Rehab. I don't know. Whatever.
She never says take. She says they try to make me go to rehab. I said
Uh,
no.
well then. Well then. That throws the next joke out.
Off you go. Do it
No,
anyway.
no, no, no. I say no. I say no.
Hey,
Uh,
that's not bad.
that's on the
Okay.
fly.
Hmm.
We've got the life of music of Amy Winehouse through the journey of adolescence to adulthood and the creation of one of the best-selling albums of all time. So,
Kind of.
is it? I thought it sold really well.
Oh, dude, I'm saying kind of. It's kind of about the greatest album of all time.
I gotta
It's
say,
kind of not.
is this out of order? Because I was watching this and I'm going, this
No.
is all over the place. Yeah, I'm like pretty sure some of the songs were out of order, like when they were doing it. Because I was like, when I was reading a review, someone was saying these songs were not actually in the correct like release. But
I'm not sure about that. I'm not confident to answer that. I'm not really. I don't think so, but like I don't think the story was told out of order. Maybe the song releases were. I don't know.
I think the songs, well, according to the review I read, they were because I was like,
Okay.
I'm so confused with this. So this is telling Amy Winehouse's like coming up story and life, where her rise to fame and then her decline into her unfortunate end, which is sad. So this is starring Melissa Abel, who plays Amy, and I think
Marissa Abella.
Abella, she does a really good job. Apparently, she did lots of vocal training to make sure that she sounds like
Yeah.
Amy. So when she sings, I think she does a pretty good job. Like I was kind of impressed with her.
Yeah. Look, the thing with Amy Winehouse is like she's such a unique individual. She was so unapologetically her that I think it's any impression of her is going to feel like a caricature to a
Okay.
degree.
Yep.
Um, I never really could get totally into believing that Marissa was Amy. It just felt like someone doing an impression of Amy.
Okay.
But have you
Did,
watched? I doubt it, but in 2015 there was the Amy
no,
documentary.
no,
No.
no.
Okay.
I know,
Uh,
I know nothing of Amy besides the songs in the radio, her
sure.
passing, and then seeing her like last performance where she looks so out of it, which was is kind of hard to watch. That's it.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Well, yeah. The documentary is a much more realistic depiction of her life. Like, I don't know, I have problems with this, and I'll get to it later, but you keep going where you are. But yeah, I just didn't. I'm not sure. Like, her impression was fine, but I didn't really feel like Amy Winehouse 100% to me. I've watched enough interviews with her and stuff, and like a
Okay.
2 hour doco about her with all behind the scenes footage and stuff, and it didn't really capture Amy completely.
Okay.
But she did well enough.
Well, without knowing Amy Winehouse very well, I think she did a really good job. I was like, yep, cool. I believe that you're Amy Winehouse. So we're following her from like being at home, and her family's like really into music. They have these big singing thingos, get ups. She
Hmm.
runs in a bit of a, seems like a bit of a rougher crowd. Like they're a little bit just doing what they want, unapologetically doing whatever, having fun.
I don't know about
Uh,
rougher crowd. They're Jewish.
Are they? Like her friends and stuff, like they're out and about, they're cruising around.
Yeah, sure. They're
That
like
was,
Chav-esque.
yeah, that was the this depiction that I sort of,
Her friends, yeah, yeah. I thought you
yeah.
meant like her family. Her
No, no,
family's
no. Her family seemed like a
pretty
pretty,
straight-laced.
yeah. So she's out and about. She meets Mitch. Is it not Mitch? No, no, no. It's
I mean, she was
Blake.
her dad, Blake.
Blake. So she meets Blake. Blake is one of those like larrikin guys who's in the pub and he's like, friends with everybody. It's just one of
Hmm.
those guys that gives to the gab. And
Yeah.
then once we meet Blake, we get the progression and it kicks off into the story of those two on and off sort of troubled relationship, which I feel this skimmed over so much because there's so much
Yes.
where I was like, how did that happen? So there's a part where they get together and then Blake is doing some extra curriculum like uh well, cocaine, I believe it was. And
Extracurriculum cocaine.
she's like,
Yeah, he's still in line.
yeah, drugs are for drugs are for mugs. And I was like, oh, okay. Yep. She's like, no, I don't want to touch it. And then all
Hmm.
of a sudden it's just like skip to the next scene where she's like fully invested into the relationship with Blake. And then all of a sudden she's like missing a tooth. I'm like, where did that come from? Like, how did you get into it? Like, where's this was
There are
like
elements. Yeah.
for me, because I had no backstory. It was like, here's a scene. This is just a highlight reel of the progression.
Yes.
And I was like,
Yes.
I have no idea what's happening. How did you get there?
100%. I totally agree. I think that it's her life is so complex with so many nuances that to try and tell her story in 2 hours when there's so much more to be told. Like you said, like they focus so heavily on her addiction, especially to alcohol. Like heaps of this is just her stumbling drunk or her buying more alcohol or her drinking. Like it's, yeah. My biggest problem with this, well, there's a few, but a lot of my problems with this is like they focus so heavily on her addiction that they skip so much like more. I wanted this story to be a live action retelling of how she wrote her albums because all her music is very, very um what's the word I want? Like cathartic. Like it's all about her and her experiences. And if you listen to her music in order, you can see different moments in her life impacting her music. She sings with emotion. You can hear her cry in certain songs when she sings them on her albums. You can hear her smiling. Like there's so much more to her as a person. And this whole story is just, oh, she did drugs. Oh, she drank a lot of alcohol. Like I feel like it's such a wasted storytelling. And it's just a Wikipedia rehash. Like this whole thing was just jump on Wikipedia and turn the biography of her life into a screenplay. It offered nothing new.
No, no. So look, I was confused, and it was
Yeah.
long. It was long as well. I thought the songs were good. Like every time there was a song, I was like, yeah, I'll listen along. Yeah, that was a cool song. And then
Yeah.
it just went into next highlight, and I was
Yeah.
like, how did that happen? Like, where did this go from? And like,
Yeah.
it was
And you
almost
can tell they were trying really hard, sorry, to get to 'cause they did a lot of like recreations of her really famous musical performances. And like they're frame for frame exactly the same. Pardon me, exactly the same, and they can tell they're trying to do what Freddie Mercury's documentary did, where they're like, oh, we shot for shot, it's the same person. Look at this, so you can have the side by sides in advertising. But because they were trying to get to those moments went for too long, and then again things in between. It was either like her drinking, her doing drugs, or her live performing for the entire second half, and it lost me hard.
yeah. Like I don't even understand how she got into it. It was just one scene, drugs are for mugs, and then next scene, I'm missing a tooth. Like
Well,
I'm
wasn't
assuming
quite
it.
that quickly, but
No, pretty much was. They made no reference to it until it was like met Blake, did a performance, got drunk, got violent, progressed to another song, missing a tooth. I was like,
mm,
where did that happen?
I looked it up. Supposedly, uh, she bit down on an ice cube and it fell loose.
Yes, but that doesn't just happen with healthy gums. So
Well, no,
drugs affect the gum strength as well. So apparently
depends
it's
what drug, but yeah.
yeah, apparently it's a thing. So
Well, yeah, heroin.
yeah, yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, yeah. So you know, I struggled with this. I was like, I'm kind of glad this is over. I was like, kind of done with
Yeah,
it.
I was like, I was into it. I was watching. I didn't feel like I'd go on my phone. I wasn't bored, but it's kind of offensive because to summarize Amy's life, this like people call her the voice of a generation. Like there's no one else who sounds like Amy Winehouse. That
Mm,
she had such a unique sound and like was kill like again the 27 Club. She was absolutely killing her career. Like not killing in a negative way. She was doing amazing. To be able to be cut short and for that entire her career to be summarized in 2 hours by this caricature of her drinking and doing drugs. It's just it's a disservice to her and her life. And also, she would hate this. She was all, as you saw in the thing as well. She didn't care about fame. She didn't care about money. She was doing all this because she loved to sing. She wanted to make people, um, emotional with her singing. She wanted people to, as she says in this, forget all their troubles for 5 minutes. And it's so ironic that they open and close with that line, and yet we've got this movie about her drinking, and the movie was just made to make money by a frigging groomer of a woman. The woman who made this made what's it something boy? What's it called? Um, hold on. Sam Taylor Johnson, which
yeah.
is when she was 43, she made Nowhere Boy. When she was 43, she met her boyfriend, her now husband on Nowhere Boy. He was 18. And it's so she groomed him. People like it's she's problematic, and she made this, and this is problematic, and it doesn't surprise me at all.
She
This
made
was doing from
50
the start.
Shades of Grey as well.
She did. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, right.
Yeah. I don't think it glorified drugs and alcohol. But what they did was worse. They summarized her life as you did drugs, you drunk a lot of alcohol. I watched this quick side note. I watched an interview with the real Blake, and he was saying that um, it's a pretty accurate depiction of those moments. But again, he said there's so much more to her life than just her being drunk. Like they're missing so many moments in our lives that were highlights,
Mhm.
and this movie just focuses on the negatives in her time.
Yeah.
Um,
And they didn't explain how it got there. They were just like, here it is.
no,
Here's the moment.
I
And
wanted
I was,
more like because there are moments in this that I liked where we get to see how her life. Because that's what I wanted the most, where her life influenced her writing the music. And there's a scene right at the beginning that'll be really excited because you can see she's writing that her first song about men, and there's like a 3 minute long shot, a long shot of a one shot, a one of her like playing the guitar and figuring out this song and sort of writing it. And I was like, oh fuck yeah, this is gonna be awesome. It's gonna be us watching her discover like how, you know, different moments in her life influence her music writing, and we get to watch her write the music. But it wasn't any of that. It was just drugs, alcohol the whole way through.
yeah,
Yeah, I again wasn't bored, borderline offended. I just this wasn't this is a total disservice to Amy Winehouse, and I'm gonna go rewatch Amy, the 2015 doco. Sort of
I feel like you
feel
won't.
better with Amy now. I want to. But you know,
I
it's
feel like
me,
you
and
won't.
it's on ABC. It's pretty easy to watch.
Okay. Okay. What would you give it then? What would you give it?
There's moments of good, but nowhere near enough. I like a 1.5, maybe even a one and a bit, 1.2.
Okay. Yeah. I'm at a one. I was just like, this is a highlight reel, and I'm so confused about what the hell's happening. I was like, how did you get there? How did you get there? I like the songs. I thought the songs were good, but it's a one.
Yeah,
It's a one. Yeah,
some of
disappointing.
her impressions were questionable. I
Ah,
listened to a lot of Amy Winehouse, and she did okay, but again, it felt like over the top, like the jaw movements, like the little. I don't know what it's called. I'm not a music person, but I don't know.
I don't know.
It was a little offensive.
Okay. Okay. Well, let's jump into our next one, which is very offensive with their over the top editing, which is our Dancing for the Devil, the
Oh
seven.
yes,
I don't know if it's 7M. I think it's 7M rather than I always thought it was 7.
7M.
Yeah. 7M TikTok cult.
Yep.
So this is the newest mini documentary mini series on Netflix now. It's in the top 10. So if you haven't seen the page of it or floating around on Netflix, I'd be quite surprised. But this is TikTok dancers join a management firm tied to a church, uncovering disturbing truths about the founder's sinister agenda. Bom, bom, bom. So there's 3 episodes. I messaged Lawson after I watched it, and I was like, I'm glad that's over. And
Yep.
Lawson
I
watched
watched one.
one. One.
One is
Yeah.
enough.
Yeah, yeah. This is a hard watch. If you like watching dancing, you're better off just going to their TikTok. Ironically, after I finished watching this, I didn't Google anything. I just watched Netflix. I actually got like 3 or 4 TikToks of the girl,
Really?
Miranda, yeah. And
There you go. They're
I was,
listening.
I was like, swipe, swipe. And I was like, get off my page. I don't want to watch you dance.
Yeah, I don't care at all about TikTok dancing. Like this was, it's so weird because made it's made for people who like that shit, and yet it's also like it's made for fucking teenage girls, but also it's paced like shit.
Well, I think the reason for the pacing is because they don't have enough information. They were like, this is an interesting story.
Yeah,
This is going to court in 2025. Let's jump on this so we get in
yeah,
early.
fucking just
And
wait.
I was like, what are you doing? Because you've given me like less than quarter of the story where you've grabbed some people and you're like, this is what's happening. It was so bizarre. So the first episode is all about the dancers and the guy who's running the church. Forget what his name is. Is it
Kevin? Was it Kevin?
Is it no? That's a member.
I don't remember.
I don't
Look it
know,
up.
but whatever. So this guy started this management firm. He's apparently done a number of different ones, and then saw a gap in the market. Like reasonably clever, saw a gap in the market, and was like, let's try and fill this in. So he started this management firm, got all these people in, and was like, yep, we're going to look after you. Tried to make them like made them feel special, looked after them, gave them a house to live in. They all live together, so they're full-time content creators. But then had this church that ran alongside of it and was like, you've sinned all day. This is what you need to do to repent. You need to then try and cut off your family. So he's cut off the family. The main focus is Miranda. So Mel and Miranda sisters. They were coming up, and they were like really good dancers. And then Miranda went and joined this whatever firm, what it was called, 7M firm.
7M, yeah.
Yep. And then she got real invested in it, and then cut all ties with the family. The family were like, oh, trying to reach out, and then couldn't get there. And then when they finally got there, police got involved, but there was nothing that was like against the law technically. So there was some back and forth. And then they went on
Yeah.
TikTok Live, and it was like, it's an interesting like story, but there's not enough of the story for them to tell. They're like taking little bits that were like, yep, cool, this is interesting. And then they're like, oh, but this isn't resolved. I was like, oh, okay. Why are you pasting
Yeah.
this out in 3 episodes and
Very
it to
true.
be like you could have done this in one and a half? You probably could have done it in one episode, like a one off. Like there
Yeah,
wasn't
one like an hour and a half movie.
I don't reckon it was an hour and a half worth. I reckon you could have got the story done in an hour.
Sure, but most quote unquote feature length docos aren't an hour.
No, but I don't think there was enough stuff in there for an hour.
Well, yeah,
So
like you said, don't do this yet then. Wait for the full story.
yeah, like surely wait till after the trial and see what happens there, and then you can actually tell the entire story. Because what are you going to do? You're just going to add to it and be like season two.
Probably. They
Yeah,
probably will. Or they'll do a movie style one to
yeah.
like, wrap up the story or whatever at a fourth
So
episode. I don't know. But no one cares. I've
no,
heard no one say this is good.
no. I sent you a message and I summed up the 3 episodes. It was
Yeah, well,
first episode. You've got the dancers, and it was about the dancers all going into the house, living together, then cutting off the other family. Then you've got the episode 3, then breaks down what each of those people are paying. So they're paying 70% for like producers, video editors. They got to do a donation to the church, but 70% of their wage is all going back to this one guy.
yep.
And then there was two people tried to escape, and they were like they were moving from house to the bloke's new house, and then they went to escape. One guy had a baseball bat, and he was like, we're going to leave. If I got to have to use a bat, a car pulled up, blocked him in there, and it was the most exciting thing. And then all of a sudden they're like, but the car drove off because they were on the phone. Cool. Yep, exciting. And then episode 2 is all about one of the assistants or one of the people in the house that had to get the special treatment of massaging the guy, and then he was like getting sexual favors and forcing these people to massage him, and that was it.
Sounds so strange, but I
Yeah.
guess it is, yeah.
And
That's
it
cult
was,
leaderish though, isn't it?
yeah, so he like built it up that that was like a privilege to be able to like spend time with him. And that's like your standard cult leader sort of. It was like
Yeah.
this, it's a privilege to be in my presence sort of style.
Also very modern cult to point out literally the words we are not a cult. Like it's
Yeah.
such a modern, yeah. We're not a
Yeah.
cult. These are all the reasons why we're not a cult. How could we be a cult?
Yeah.
We wouldn't talk about it if we were a cult.
No. And then the case is going to court in 2025. Miranda is still with the church and only has contact with the family because they signed some like non-disclosure thingo that they won't talk about the church in Miranda's presence or something or other.
Presents, yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
And that's it. And then it ends. And I was like, oh, sick. I just watched like almost 3 hours of this and I summed it
Yeah,
up in 2 minutes. I was like,
yeah,
wow. And the editing is just in your face dancing the entire time. There's an occasional cut to like someone talking, but it's just throwing B-roll footage
yeah.
at you
And
consistently.
like the captions and graphics are all like they think they're being so clever with the way they're like coming from the screen and they almost look diegetic and but it's just bombardment. It's like watching a TikTok video, but in between the videos you have to watch a boring documentary for 5 minutes.
Mhm.
Like
Yep.
it's yeah, the editing got me the most. I can't like it's like you said, it's boring as shit. There isn't enough substance to the story. But the editing for me was the part that I was like, no, I'm not watching any more of this. I can't get past it.
Yeah, fair. Yeah, it was a hard watch.
I have fuck all to
Yeah,
say as well.
yeah.
Like,
There's not
what
much
what is
to
there
say
even say
about
about this? No, literally, there's not much to say for them to say either. That's the problem.
it. They just jumped on it and were like, "Oh, this is a cool story.
Yeah,
You've got 3 episodes. Yeah, cool. No,
the one compelling part that I think like I really liked was the interviews with the parents. Like they are struggling, and because this is ongoing, and it's like that's the part that I actually did like that this was current, but they could have done that by filming over a 3 year 4 year period rather than trying to film now and then update later potentially.
yeah,
Like the interviews with the dad, especially, he is hurting. So that's like I'm kind of glad they filmed that now while it's still happening while it's raw, than try and like get him to retell the emotions. But it's that's the only positive really with their timing.
yep,
It's not good.
no. So it's a one for me. It's a one. I was bored.
Yeah, I'm gonna up my rating of Back to Black to 1.5 and make this. Oh no, because one Back to Black wasn't boring, but it was offensive. So no, fuck that. They're both ones.
Yep, yep,
This yeah, there's nothing fucking to this.
mm,
I forgot I even watched it, to be honest.
yeah, yeah, yeah. No,
Yeah, very short
disappointing.
review for that one, but
Skip it.
it's well
Skip it.
deserved.
We saved your time. Saved your time.
Yeah, legit.
Yep. All right, let's get into Kevin Hart's newest one. I wonder if they actually went and refilmed this, or it was like this is still footage that we needed to break down because I can't
Pretty
see
sure it's
this.
that.
They just had extra footage.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's like season two.
No, there's so they filmed all of this and then they were like, "Yep, we're going to keep releasing it." Surely the first one didn't do well enough that they were like, "Yep, sick. Let's keep this going."
Hmm.
There's no way.
Well,
There's no way. But here we
season
are.
so yeah, literally season two because season two starts with Kevin is hell bent on creating a cinema verite style of action movie to prove he's the greatest action star on earth. No studio finance such a film. Kevin finds one person who will. That is the first episode of the second season. Now, to give you some great news, there is a season three coming. So
No,
there will
no.
be a Die Hart 3.
Oh my God. What is this this movie is Kevin Hart bumbling around for an
Yep.
entire hour and a half. Like there
Yep.
is
Feature length bumbling.
there's literally he was like, cool, this is your role, this is your role, this is your role. I'm gonna just bumble it around. Like I felt like he had no direction. He was just like, I'm going to ad lib on every single thing that you do, and
Yep.
then here's the movie.
Yep.
And then
It's I
he,
can't believe that this is now what we're doing where we're making TV shows and then we're recutting them into feature length films to try and double down on the dollars. It's phenomenal.
yeah.
Like it's fucking disgusting.
I reckon there was only one point where actually one or two things that I actually laughed at in this, and it was mainly because it was awkward laughter, like when the mum of his
Yeah.
assistant, and that was about it. The rest of the time I was like, It's Kevin Hart being
Mum
Kevin
of
Hart.
his. Oh, right, right.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. So it was like, okay, you've come in, there's this big action scene where they drop down. It's like, ha, that's right. I need high octane action. And I want to capture the real emotions. And I was like, oh God. This
The action's filmed like a fucking like a death race movie. Like it's garbage action. It's not good.
no. They're like hold an arm out, wait for the next move. And I was
Yeah,
just like, you go, I go, you go.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm disappointed because there are two actors in this I really like, and I was kind of think I thought their scenes would at least be funny. Ben Schwartz, the guy who plays his assistant, is a funny guy. He with the right direction, he can be really fucking hilarious. And John Cena, who has done no wrong. He is prior to this funny in everything. He holds scenes. He was still the best part of this, but he was nowhere near as good as he has been.
He was barely in it, mate. He was in it for like a brief
Yeah,
few
but
minutes.
I thought those few minutes were going to be funnier than they
But
were.
no, not when you've been given this line and then I'm going to bumble around you. That's it.
Yep. Here's my testicles.
Yeah. Like that was
Hmm.
that was it. It was the most bizarre film I have ever seen. It was worse than the first one. And I don't know if that's possible, but it
It
is.
was worse because it wasn't as funny. The first one was so dumb that it was funny, and like with John Travolta and stuff, who just can't fucking act. Like there's a
And
lot to make me laugh in the first one,
where
where this
Josh
is
Hartnett
just
just rocks up. He's like, I haven't
yeah,
seen you for a very long time.
and now we see him in everything.
Yeah.
Like I don't understand how the first can be. Well, I do understand. There's a lot of differences, but like this is nowhere near as good. And like the first one isn't good, but the first one's funny. This one isn't funny,
No.
not at all. With
But the first one's unintentionally funny. They were like, we're gonna make
yes,
this thinking it's gonna be good. And then you've realized we don't have enough material for an entire show. So let's cut it into a movie. And they're like, oh, this was better than we thought.
but
Let's
it'd be such
do
a
this.
tough watch as a show. Like how many episodes are there of Die Hard season two? Because this was paced terribly as a fucking movie.
Oh
Let
yeah.
alone there's 8 episodes of season two, which means there's what 4 hours. They cut
Hmm.
down to an hour and a half. An hour and a half was still slow and boring.
Hmm.
Like you said, it's just the whole start is Kevin Hart trying to film a movie. Him, yeah, and he thinks everything's real, and we as an audience know that it fucking isn't. And it's like this is annoying because you're an idiot. It's so hard to get behind a character who's making dumb decisions and who's fucking ignorant of the world. And
Has
then
has he
what
fallen
happens
off
next?
like massively? So like when he first came on the scene, I was like, oh, you're kind of funny. And then he just did the same thing.
But he was always funny with someone else funny. Like in what have you seen him in that you think is funny in?
I reckon him and Will Ferrell was pretty funny. I had a good laugh at that.
What was that in?
The one where he was training Will Ferrell to go to prison, get hard.
Oh, right. Yep, yep. So again, he's funny with somebody else.
Um,
We watched Me Time, garbage, but that was kind of funnier with somebody else. He does
uh,
Ride Along, which is funny with somebody else. He does
yeah,
the movies with The Rock. He's funny with somebody else. Like,
yeah.
it's ironic that he's trying to make this movie to show that he's an action movie star, but he's making a comedy in real life
He
to
has
prove that he.
15 upcoming things.
Jesus fucking Christ. Wow, look at
But
them all.
yeah, are they producers though?
Oh, they're doing a remake of Planes, Trains, Automobiles.
Also,
He's a
Monopoly
producer.
is getting a
Monopoly,
movie.
yeah, I saw that. Yeah, again,
Craziness.
but he's not funny enough. Like he's a short doses kind of funny because I've giggled at him before, and I really have laughed, especially at the interviews with him and Dwayne the Rock Johnson because they are they're riffing back and forth as friends. It's pretty entertaining, but him trying to carry a movie, being the main character, is really annoying. That's the best way to describe him in this. He's annoying as fuck.
Yeah.
He's an annoying character. He's an annoying
Uh,
actor playing an annoying character.
how was the twist where they were like he the stunt double bloke took on Kevin Hart's appearance, and it was Kevin
Oh
Hart being
yeah.
like a hillbilly. I was like, oh my god,
Oh, I hated the whole
it
hillbilly thing.
was nuts.
I got so mad because it's you know that he thought that shit was so funny. You know, the whole time he's doing that hillbilly impression, the hillbilly fucking stunt double. He's like, "Oh, this is great writing. I'll." And again, it's just him fucking ad libbing with this with his fucking fake teeth in.
Yep, and I can't see him as that persona. He just doesn't come across as that. Like he comes
No,
across as the bumbling out of fish, well, out of fish out of water character, where
yeah,
like central intelligence, where he's the fish out of water with the rock.
but again, it's him as a sidekick fighting with somebody else.
Yeah, yeah.
He can't hold his own movie. He just can't.
No, so
Show, I should say. It's
well,
not a movie.
he's getting
This
the
is a
third one.
recut somehow. But if he puts enough money of his own money into it, then why wouldn't he? You know,
I think his name is definitely going to sell stuff though. Like I'm sure he's got a pretty big audience.
it's going to get stuff to streaming services at least.
Hmm.
Like he approaches Netflix and says, "I'm thinking of making another movie. I'll put this much money into it, and then you put this much money into it." And they'll go, "Yeah, sure." Like,
Yeah,
what's the harm? You know? But it's fuck, it's bad.
it's not
It's
good.
I don't remember the story beat. So he thinks he's in a movie, and then he finds out he isn't, and then his assistant saves him. They go to his assistant's parents' house, his mum's house.
His mum's house.
Why?
Because the assistant gets injured, and then he got hurt, and then the mum's like, "You need to take your shirt off," and then she's like losing her mind over it, and then it's awkward,
Yeah.
and then it moves on. We find out a little bit more information that the person that called him up was really the stunt double. They meet John Cena. They learn that all of a sudden John Cena is the lover of the stunt double. The stunt double takes on Kevin Hart's persona and appearance,
Hmm.
and then they have the big confrontation. The end.
And the confrontation ends with you thinking that Kevin Hart won, but he's
Yep,
actually in jail,
yep,
which is how they're setting up the sequel.
yep,
It's gonna
yep.
be him in jail for half the movie, and somehow he gets out.
Hmm.
Ah, who cares? This is so dumb. I thought it was gonna be funnier. Like the first one was, I laughed a lot in the first one, but I think a lot of that comes down to John Travolta because he was just and the because we didn't know what to expect with the first one, the I don't know what you want to call it, but the twist, I guess, was so dumb and like all the actions that they're coming, it was really silly and it felt stupid, whereas this was just stupid. Like,
It was
yeah,
dumb.
I fuck all to say. This was so boring. I fell asleep, had to rewind. Um, the whole again, like it's fucking disgusting that we're cutting a Roku original TV show
Roku.
into a fucking movie for Netflix. Like it's gross. It's really really gross.
Hmm.
I don't understand, but we watched it. Our little number ticked up the watches on their data.
Yep. So two of our
So
watches are from us.
yeah, literally we're proving that it fucking works. But because who's gonna watch this as a TV show? They're gonna watch one episode, be like, this is garbage, and turn it off.
Hmm.
Whereas like you can't really, I mean, you can, but you're watching a movie, you're like, I might as well stick it out.
Terrible.
Yeah,
Terrible.
it's so shit.
Yep.
It's I don't know because for me it's probably a one, but I've given everything one this week. I don't know what's worse. Like Back to Black, as I said, boring but offensive. It's a movie that shouldn't exist. It was made by a problematic person making a problematic movie. It's offensive to the person they're making it about. Dancing with the Devil was paced like shit and was boring because there was no substance to it. And then Die Hard is like awkward because it thinks it's hilarious, but you're just sitting there like, what the fuck is even happening? This is not entertaining at all. I
Yeah.
don't know where I sit. What's the better of the three? I probably enjoyed Back to Black more. I
Um,
probably enjoyed Die Harder more than Dancing with the Devil.
I
'Cause
didn't enjoy any of them. I remember watching everything and being like, I'm glad everything's been watched.
yeah, he literally said to me, I watched everything this week and I'm glad everything's finished.
Mm, yep, yep. It was a tough one.
It
But
sucked. You got
uh,
numbers?
one, one,
One,
one,
yeah.
one, one. Yep.
A week of ones, literally
Mhm.
all of us.
Yep. It sucked.
Yeah.
Hopefully next week is better. So we've got a bit of
Gotta
a
be.
it's got a Netflix special for you. So we've got
Yep.
Eric, which is Cumberbatch's newest one. I know
Hell yeah.
nothing about it, but that is a TV show. We've
I've
got
been keen.
Under Paris, which looks like a giant shark that's attacking Paris. Who knows?
Yeah. It
Hmm.
looks very asylum film-esque,
So
which has me
who
a little bit
knows?
excited, but also like, why?
Yep.
Anyway.
And then we've got Netflix's newest action romantic comedy
Mm-hmm.
thing thrown two attractive
Thing.
people in. So it's
Yep.
Hitman. So it's Glenn Powell and I can't even remember her name.
No, someone I've literally never heard of.
No. So
Adria Arjona.
yeah.
Andrea and Jonah.
Oh,
Adria
Andrea. So who knows?
Arjona. No idea who she is.
Who knows? Who knows? But without further ado, if you're listening on Spotify, give us that 5-star rating. You're on YouTube, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and tell your friends.
Tell your
We'll
friends.
see you guys next time. Peace.
Love yous.